WanderingWinder here. This is a look at the kingdom. And we have a 5-2, so we're going to open Artificer. And then I think we're going to open Church, which I like a little bit better than Goat Herd. We are going to try to thin down and do Grand Market Conspirator things. I think I'm going to take another Spices now. And I'm going to set 3 cards aside across the shuffle and buy a Church. And then I'm going to want to get Goat Herds, but setting 3 cards across the shuffle makes this shuffle smaller, which means I get to see my good stuff a lot faster. Which I think is very good. Gonna grab a Goat Herd, and do we want to grab another Goat Herd or a Conspirator here? I think between 2 Churches and 1 Goat Herd, I should be okay. Let's start on the Conspirators. Again, I want to set 3 things across the shuffle here. I'm probably just going to buy a pawn. Which should be a good card in helping. To get ourselves going. I think I'll also take an Artificer here. This is another cantrip to help me set up this Conspirator. I was really hoping to draw the Goat Herd here, so this is a bit of a bummer. Especially to have all this money with no plus buy. Yeah, let's take another one of these. Okay. We're going to cantrip the pawn first. I think we're done with Artificers. We'd rather have Conspirators. May well be a bit behind here. Yeah, not taking another Grand Market makes sense. Take an Artificer and a Conspirator. In fact, I think I am behind here. Okay. We get to get a Grand Market here. So now we're finally set up, but you may be a bit behind. And by we may be a bit behind, I mean we're a bit behind. For sure. Although if you don't find your Grand Market here, that's going to be nice for me. Spend our last coffers here to get this Conspirator. I don't know how much stuff you have less to trash. My Goat Herd's probably going to start being a lot worse soon, because yours are going to be trashing less. You have a little bit. Okay. So we should be fine. But I think a little bit behind. Well, it's pretty close. You go Grand Market, Conspirator here. Yeah, I'm behind by maybe about just first player. If I use Artificer here, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Okay, discard 4 cards, get the Conspirator. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Okay, so we want a Church. 12 money. We might want a Church Copper Pawn here and just buy Conspirator. Otherwise we Church Copper. This is 12. Get to 13, but I want to get more Conspirators principally, so let's do it this way. And this helps to ensure that. So I'm less worried about having enough buys, so the grand markets are less important to me. You probably need to get rid of your goat herds. Yeah. So you have 5 buys right now. You probably go Grand Market, Conspirator. So that gets you up to 8 buys. So we need to be cognizant of that. And you had how much money there? 22. So you have 30 money now. Okay. So I could take a pawn now for free, basically. I need to think of it. Okay, so if I get 2 grand markets here, you have 8 buys and 30 money. You can probably just win. If I get 1 grand market, you have 8 buys and 30 money. If you get grand market, you can't empty a pile in particular. So I'm going to have 14, 15, 16. I could have at most 5 buys here. If I get 5 buys, like 17 money. It gets me a lot of battlefield points. I'm going to spend 4 buys on battlefield points. $16, $18, $19. I think I'm just lost, basically. If we take, hold on, just empty most of the estates here, maybe. Discard these 2. Gives us an estate which we draw. We take money and buy. Card and buy. We have 14, 16, 17, and 5 buys. Province and 4 estates or something. That gives us a lot of... I mean, I think we kind of need to go for that. Otherwise, I think I'm basically just lost. And hopefully we draw the spices here. Hey, we did. Okay, so province. I mean, I think this has to be the one we go for. So you shouldn't be able to win this turn, at least. After that, I don't know. My deck is obviously, like, much worse than it was. Oh, you might be able to... You can use Artificer, maybe? How thin is your deck? You have another Conclave still. Take a pawn. Okay. We know you have a pawn in hand now. The last card here is your Goat Herd, so... 31 money. But this isn't a win. I've successfully averted a win. Now, I need to have a very good turn in order to be able to end the game. But at least I've given myself a chance at that. I think I'm not going to trash this estate that's coming in, because I may want to discard it with Artificer? Whatever you do, you should not touch estate. You should probably take a pawn here, yeah. Touching estate makes it easier for me. Not going to trash. I'm going to cantrip this. We need to play this next. If I take an estate here... That's guaranteeing that I don't win. If I take a pawn... There's not much reason to take the pawn. Similar decision here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, taking something else doesn't really help. Like, I could take a spices and then draw into that, and that's not really going to do it either. Okay. We'll take a province now. And you just hope that you dud, I guess. Although, I'm also kind of dudding. You must have more grand markets or something in hand, or if you take another estate now, I don't see taking these estates seems really bad to me. Why would you do this? This helps me so much. Well, now you have to buy like gardens copper, right? It's not a third pile. Again, I don't want to trash here because, well, for now, for one thing, the points might matter. Um, right. So we just want to go gardens, gardens, copper, copper. And now I am losing. But I think I gave myself close to the best chance from that turn where I decided to take all the battlefield points. Probably that goat herd missing the shuffle that turn it did was really bad for me, and probably I should have gone ahead and gotten the second goat herd. Probably I also shouldn't have gotten the second artificer. Maybe the whole spices plan wasn't great. Although I think on 5-2 you pretty much need to open spices. Yeah. Okay. Well played by my opponent.